If she's acting different, this is why. One of the biggest mistakes that I see men make a lot of times, they assume that a woman suddenly changed. They think her feelings disappeared overnight. They think something random happened. Maybe another guy showed up. Maybe she lost interest. It can go on, but most of the time, she didn't change. The dynamic changed. This is what a lot of guys neglect. When the dynamic of two people changes, the behavior follows the same pattern. That's exactly why a woman can go from warm, enthusiastic, fully engaged, to suddenly now she's like feeling distant. She's replying slower. Replies actually get even shorter, probably hitting you with the one word. The excitement fades. The energy feels different. And you start thinking, a million thoughts go through your mind. You start wondering what you did wrong. You start contemplating, you start rereading old messages. You start thinking about what you posted. Maybe it was something that you did the other day. But attraction, it rarely collapses instantly. It shifts slowly, like a tide pulling away from a shore. Let's break down why that happens. Attraction, it works like a campfire. When a fire first starts, the energy is strong. The flames are bright. Everything feels exciting and effortless. Easy. But a fire stays alive when the balance is right. Too little wood, it dies. Too much wood, you suffocate the flame. Attraction works the exact same way. When two people first connect, and really think about it. When you connected with an ex or with a girl, curiosity, there's mystery. But over time, many people unknowingly change the balance. You might start adding too much energy, too much attention, too much availability. And if you guys are new here, those are very silent attraction killers. When you give too much of your time, when you are always available. And slowly, you will naturally see that same flame that once burned naturally begin to struggle. It's not because the connection was flake, but because the balance shifted. Look at it like this. In the beginning phase, that beginning early stage, the balance is right. You're relaxed, right? Let's keep it real. You're not overthinking every messages. And then really think about this. You're not really worried about the outcome. You're simply enjoying the current moment. You're in the present state. You're simply enjoying the interaction. That version of you is attractive. That version of you was attractive to her. That version of you got her to, you feel me? That's what got her attention. Remember that. Why? Because it feels natural. You weren't doing too much in the beginning. You were keeping it organic. You were natural. You were your fully authentic self. You weren't saying too much. You weren't analyzing every little message. You was just flowing in the flow state. But the moment you start liking her, better terms, liking her more, your behavior will subtly change. You probably don't notice this, but when you start getting more feelings for her, and it should never be like that. And if you do, you need to tone it down. You need to fall back because it won't work out. And then you might think you're doing everything right. You might think that's what she wants to hear. That's what she needs. It unfortunately doesn't work like that. She needs to be more invested into you. Because even if you do start off and you are more invested into her, you will slowly see how she will try to manipulate. She will use that to her advantage. That moment when you start liking her more, when you start changing your behavior, you slowly start checking your phone more often. You respond instantly. You see that message? Boom. You probably don't even know it. You're just excited to get back to her. You're curious, all right? You try to keep the conversation going. But you are slowly starting to invest more emotional energy. Now, from your perspective, this feels normal, right? It seems natural, you're not doing anything. You like her, you're trying to show that. You're trying to be real, right? It feels like you're showing interest. But from her perspective, it's completely different. I promise you. I used to think exactly that. Let me show her I'm about it. Let me not just talk. Let me show her through my actions, right? Get her her flowers first date. Being that overly nice guy. Hey, what do you want to eat? I got you. Uber. I got you. This, that. That moment, something entirely happens in her perspective. The dynamic changes. And I'm going to explain why. What once felt balanced now feels one-sided. Now it's you over here. You're over here. You're punching to squeeze through. You're trying to break inside. Before, it was you guys were meeting at a level playing field. You were over here. She's meeting you here. It's like you're going for a kiss. She meets you. It's not you going all the way in. That's what it looks like, even if you don't see it. Once attraction becomes one-sided, curiosity disappears. right? And then this is where it leads to all hell breaks loose. This is where dilemmas start coming. This is where you start to see problems. This is probably where most of guys' problems are coming from, and they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know they were overly doing too much. Or better in terms, just showing much. Like, you can have that feeling for her, right? But don't show it. That's why I say don't come off and give off that energy. Let me make it simple. Think of attraction like two magnets. When two magnets hold their positions, the pull between them is strong. There's tension, there's intrigue. But if one magnet starts pushing it forward stronger than the other, the balance breaks and pulls disappear. The pull disappears. This is exactly what happens when a man becomes overly focused on a woman. He starts leaning in forward, she starts moving backwards. So he's going here, she's over here. The moment he leans forward too much, she pulls back. She will lean back. I guarantee you that. And it's not because, I don't want you to think it's, oh, she doesn't like me, she just likes me. It's not that. It's not that at all. You need to understand this. It's simply because the energy no longer feels balanced. What once felt natural, what once felt aligned, like she thought, like, you know, you guys had probably the same jokes, you guys had the same similarities, mindset, hobbies, but now you're doing a little bit too much. So now you kind of like push her offshore. You're pushing her, right? Because that's why I always say, when you try to force attraction, when you try to force someone to like you, when you try to force someone to do something, they're entitled not, they're more likely not going to do it. That's human behavior. That's why I always tell guys, don't check her phone, don't check her messages, because you can know when someone's cheating on you. You can know what, you had that feeling. You can tell from body language. If you can't, then you should study more. You should try to understand human behaviors or psychology more. Another way to understand it is think of emotional temperature. Every relationship has a natural temperature, warm, comfortable, engaging. But as soon as one person raises the temperature too high, it's burning up, it's heated. The other person will instinctively lower the temperature down just to cool the room. It's too hot. Does that make sense? They do that because they want to restore the balance. Imagine walking into a room that's burning, it's hot as hell. Your first instinct is to not just sit there and just suffer and smile through the pain. Like, no, you're gonna try to crack down a window, you're gonna try to find a fan, turn on the AC. You step back, you try to create space. Women do the exact same thing emotionally. Once the energy becomes too intense or predictable, they immediately create distance. They create space. I'm good. She won't be direct and tell you why. She's just gonna act different. And if you bring it up, she won't be transparent with you. Some may say, I think you're rushing too strong, like you're going too fast. That's usually when they say that. When you see her start acting different, this is what I call the observation phase. This is what you see her do. Instead of leaning forward, she leans back. She pulls back. She starts observing you. She starts watching you. She's basically, you will even see her try to study your reactions. As crazy as it sounds, she will. Because distance reveals something important. Your emotional stability. She wants to see where you're at, where your head's at. How you go with maybe 3 days no contact. They'll do that. That's why you probably remember, even if you just talk to her, your relation, like that's why they go certain days and just ghost. It's mind games. Because most guys, she's in their head now. So you have to ask yourself, do you panic? Do you start chasing? Do you start asking what's wrong? The wise guy will continue living his life and act like he is not affected. Because he can't control people. He can control himself, though. Something that we always talk about. You can't control her reactions. You can influence it based off how you respond, based off what you do, how you react. She will mirror you in the aspect of she's watching your every move precisely. And how you react is what she's going to do. If you act bothered, if you act like you're going through it, she will either try to raise up that stress or she will just completely pull back. One thing you probably notice, and I want you to think about this, is that observation. When you're observing someone, especially when it's in silence, it reveals a lot about that person because it shows their true nature under uncertainty. That's why you see probably friends, that's why you see probably exes just panic, right? Maybe you broke up with her and she's spiraling. Or you see friends who don't know how to take a bad breakup. And you see a side of them that you've never seen before. You're like, whoa, what's going on, buddy? Like, what's good? That's because of uncertainty. Or they had a bad breakup. Everyone's been through it. This is exactly where many men sabotage themselves during this uncertainty phase. And it's unintentional, right? Because I don't think you want to do that. Imagine holding sand in your hand. If your hand stays open and relaxed, the sand stays there. Once you start squeezing it slightly, you will notice the sand slips through your fingers. You feel me? Attraction behaves the same way. Just like I always say, the harder you try to force it, the faster it disappears. And many men unknowingly squeeze the situation too tightly. They text more, they ask for reassurance. They try to restore that connection back to what it used to be. And this moment, you need to pause, you need to reflect, and you need to just don't overdo it. If you have nothing good to say, don't say anything at all. If you have a lot to say, tone it down and wait a day or two. Reprocess your mind before you rush and go and do something, because you can easily ruin it. You can easily ruin something that was working for you by overly doing it, because you're unsettled, because you're not sitting down, you're not meditating, you're not having a clear thought, thinking with a clear consciousness. When you go in that panic mode, when you go in that, because it seems like you're doing the right thing, right? You're reaching out, hey, is everything okay? How was your day? I'm worried about you. I care about you. All that, like, we think that's good. That's not what they want to hear. They don't want to hear that. And when you do that, you're instantly labeled the nice guy. And she's going to be putting you in a group chat with other girls, and he's this type of guy. He's a nice guy. And this is when they take advantage of you. I trust me. And I've seen it. She will use you different. So if you are a nice guy, you don't want to show that to her in an aspect where, yes, you are a nice person, but you're not a nice guy. Nice guy in dating, in a relationship, is something completely different in my books. It's literally overly available, not straight up, not being blunt and direct, right? You're not putting your feet down. You're letting her kind of basically walk all over you. This is where people get married to this type of woman, and she ends up wearing the pants. That's where you see that famous quote. Like, this is real. There's people who live this life, and they're probably stuck in it because they didn't control the balance off the get-go. So now they're stuck into it. Now they have kids with this woman, right? Now they don't want to leave because of child support, because of this, that. So they just deal with it. And this is where you see people become angry, become bitter, become hateful, start hating people, start hating the world, start joining cults, because they're unsure with themselves. They're upset with their life because of the choices they make, instead of being calm, because now you're stuck in a situation. You see how this can really, like, it might not seem dramatic right now, but this can, if you're not aware of this right now, if you don't fix that, this will backfire on you. Eventually, if you want to leave her down the line in the future, but now you can't because you end up having kids with her. And once you have kids, as a man, you should be there for your kid. So now you're stuck. So understand that attraction doesn't return through pressure. It returns through space. That's why when I see you guys comment, or when I see people ask me, some of my clients, students as well, but when they ask, hey, she wanted a break, it's been a couple of days, I haven't heard from her. Should I reach back out? And I always say, give space. Silence will reveal the truth. It will reveal her true intentions. Don't say anything. Give it time. If she doesn't hit you back, it's fine. You move on. You never hit her up again. I'm talking about never. Like, we are taught to, like, you fight for love. You got to fight for something if you want it. That's real in life, but when it comes to women and relationship, this is not how it is. It's not Disney Channel. It's not Disney Channel. This is not Romeo and Juliet. This is not Romeo and Juliet, unfortunately, right? One of my favorite movies and books, but it's like I used to be that guy too. Like, I used to believe in true love. I used to believe in, like, you know, like, on some, like, Prince Charming shit, on some picking her up off the, like, it sounds cute, you know, it sounds good, but you know that saying, it sounds too good to be true. That's how it is. That's how it is. And if you act like that type of guy, you'd get walked all over. You would get destroyed in the dating market, especially in 2026, especially in today's age. As soon as she senses a shift in the dynamic, pulling back gives her clarity. This is where she can make the excuse of, well, hey, I just need some time to think. Now she'll go 3-4 days. And this is what they do to have leverage. Why do they do that? Because they don't want you moving on. They don't want you finding another girl. So what they do is they do this so then you start thinking about her more now. I promise you, especially if you have options, especially if you look good, if you're attractive. They will do this to have you thinking, especially if she knows she got you. So as soon as she knows that you're pulling in or you're leaning in more, and you have to understand that females catch feelings more than guys, faster. So even though she's not showing it to you, even though she's not being verbatim with you, even though maybe she hasn't hooked up with you or she hasn't really expressed the same type of love that you show her, even if you guys hooked up or whatnot, but it just seems like it's like she using me. She's just trying to look at me as FWB, friends benefits, or what is this? You have to understand, whenever you're thinking these questions, they're thinking about it more. They're emotional. They're females. So you should never really be like, on your mind should be like your mission, your grind, work, job, hobby, exercise. Like there's so much things that you can be doing that you should be staying occupied with, especially in here. It should never really be about her, like thinking about her. Like I haven't had that in years, maybe almost, I'll say good, almost decade now, right? And I remember having those feelings, those thoughts, and I was at a different time phase in my life during those times. Like I would love hard, like I would talk to one girl only, and like I would cut off any other girl on my roster, right? Thinking like this is what she wanted, like I'm showing her, like I'm being authentic, like I'm choosing you only, I don't want nobody else. And every time I did that, it backfired. Every single time. To the point where I realized the girl that you want, you cannot show her that. Does that make sense? Like you cannot let that be known. You kind of have to always have that abundance mindset. Like you don't have to showboat. You don't have to talk about it. You don't have to like, you can do it just based off how you move, your demeanor. Like you act like you're uninterested. Like if something happens, if it goes south, okay, cool. It actually helps when you do have options, when you have confidence in yourself, when you've cold approached and you've done a lot of things that you know that no matter what, like you're not, like once you know that you can't settle for less, once you know that you have options, that you don't have to settle for less, it makes it so much easier. You would never have this issue. It took me years to, but once I leveled up my game, once I improved my cold approach, once I improved my attraction, right, staying in shape, staying disciplined, like it makes it very easier. So yes, at times I miss that feeling of that, like that old school type of love, like the 90s type of love. But unfortunately, that's not what they want, nor do they care. And if they do act like they want that, like when they're lying and stuff, like they just want to use you. So when she senses that shift in the dynamic, she will instinctively pull back, just for clarity. Once she has distance, it allows her to see more objectively now. It allows her to now view the relationship or the interaction again from a neutral standpoint, from a neutral perspective. It also gives her the opportunity to see something important. She's looking at it as the future, like, okay, so if he acts like this now, how will this be in a couple weeks if we get serious, a couple months? Does that make sense? Like, you have to understand, like, you are being monitored, you're being watched, even if she hasn't said anything to you. It also allows her to see something else that's very important. Whether you remain grounded without constant validation. So now she's trying to see if you're still that same guy, if you're still him. Without her reminding you, without her showing you that affection, without her, you understand? They want to see your confidence. And FYI, confidence is not shown when you have everything going well for yourself, when you have it all together. Confidence isn't proven when things are going well. Confidence is proven when things get uncertain, when it's not going your way, when you don't know the outcome, when you're still skeptical, but you have that confidence because you have that belief in yourself that no matter what, I'm good. No matter what, I won't let these voices creep in my mind and rail me off a different route or shrink my dreams or make me give up. That's what delusional confidence is, that is needed, that is required, right? And you can still have this in a grounded way. This is what she's trying to see. Are you still that guy? So like we always mention, the biggest mistake you can make is trying to fix that gap by reacting emotionally. When you try to go and fix the situation ASAP, immediately, you will slowly talk more, you will push harder, explain more, things that are not required, especially in this time. Attraction is not a problem that can be solved through logic. no matter what. Attraction is an emotional experience. Emotional experiences respond to energy, not explanations. So as soon as you stay unaffected or you stay centered by the recent changes, by the temporary distance, something interesting happens. The dynamic immediately resets. Because now she's the one wondering, now she's the one thinking. Now that's when you start seeing her being more curious about what you're doing. Now she's hitting you back up. Now she's saying, hey, where are you? What are you doing? There's that, because you stopped doing it. And curiosity is the foundation of attraction. Here's the deeper truth that most guys avoid hearing. So I'm going to have to tell you. When a woman acts distant, it could be as simple as that she's just reevaluating the situation. She's trying to process everything. She's trying to see if she has these type of feelings, if she should even express it to you yet. Because like I said, they catch feelings more faster. So if you are way strongly into her and you can tell she's not really into you like that, I would, and it's going to sound harsh, but I would completely end it, because you save yourself stress, time, and money, because they will use your resources even when they know that they got you like this in this position. Some might still be straight up and say, hey, I think we're rushing it, but that's usually high school, college shit. As you get older, they won't tell you that. It's going to just be like you're going to figure it out based off experience, based off a couple of nights not going anywhere, or you're going to end up being that friend zone guy. So it's normal for her to reevaluate if that's what she wants to do. Don't panic when she does that, because people they constantly reassess the direction of their lives. That includes the relationships as well. So it's totally normal. Don't look at it as a bad thing. Just know that attraction is not forcing someone to stay. You can't force it. It's simply about being the person whose presence naturally holds value. Basically, the type of guy that doesn't chase attention, he attracts it. So if you notice a woman acting different, don't panic, don't chase. Never chase, and you know that. Never, and I mean never, try to control the situation and lose your center in the same time, in the same process. You will lose your center trying to control the situation, in better terms. And if you're new here, men are the prize, you are the prize. But you can only control what you can control, which is yourself. You can never control other people, no matter how much influence you think you have, money. Some people will sell their soul for money, but you have to understand, you can't change certain people. Just remember that attraction doesn't grow from presence. It grows from balance. And if you want to understand this in a deeper psychological level, I break it down inside The Art of Detachment. The link will be in the description and pinned comments. And if this video helped you see things differently, consider subscribing to the channel. Turn on the post notifications on, leave a like, comment, share this video with somebody who needs to see this, because this is clarity with motion, baby. Remember, clarity of mind, discipline of motion. You got this. Don't overthink it. Definitely don't overcomplicate it. And I'll catch you guys on to the next one, man. Be easy.